Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will discuss the bones of the lower limbs. I am Dr. Fatma Inam, Associate Professor of Anatomy. So an overview of bones of the lower limb. So the bones of lower limb include you can see here, this is the lower limb or the lower appendage, appendicular skeleton, and the bones include the femur, which is located in the thigh region. Then in the leg region there are two bones. Medially is the tibia and laterally is the fibula. And between the tibia and the fibula anteriorly lies a sesamoid bone, large sesamoid bone, which is known as patella. So now in the bones of the foot includes the tarsal bones. These are 7 in number. Metatarsals, the long ones, and the phalanges, the bones of the toes. So there are 14 phalanges, 5 metatarsals and 7 tarsals bone. So these are the bones of the lower limb. So bones of thigh. First of all, the bones of thigh. The bone of thigh is the femur. So there is a single bone in the thigh which is known as femur. It is the longest or heaviest bone of the body, and its head is spherical and fits into the acetabulum to form the hip joint. So you can see here, this is the head of the femur and it is spherical and it fits into the acetabulum of the hip bone. You have studied before, and it forms the hip joint. I will show you in the next slide. The neck extends outwards and downwards to the shaft. So this is the neck part of the femur, this one. So this is the head and this is the neck part, neck. Now the neck is almost covered by capsule of the hip joint. So this is the upper part of the femur, showing the upper extremity of the femur. You can see here, this is the head, this is the neck portion. The upper part of femur, it also includes projections, two projections called the greater trochanter and the lesser trochanter. And there is a line in between which is known as intertrochanteric line. So these projections give attachment to the muscles. And this is the posterior view of the hip bone, showing again the head, the neck, the trochanters, greater trochanter and the lesser trochanter. And there is an intertrochanteric crust here, a thick border which is known as intertrochanteric crust. So this is the picture showing the anterior view, and this one is showing the posterior view. Now in posterior view you can see the intertrochanteric crust, while in the anterior view there is an intertrochanteric line. So this is the upper part, this is the shaft, and this is the lower end. Linea aspera. What is linea aspera? Linea aspera in Latin means rough line. It is a ridge of roughened surface on the posterior surface of the shaft of femur. It is the site of attachments of muscles and the intermuscular septum. So here you can see on the posterior surface of the upper part of shaft of femur lies a rough ridge which is known as linea aspera, and this gives attachment to the muscles, various muscles, and the intermuscular septum. Its margins diverge above and below. So lower part of the femur, the posterior surface of the lower part of femur is broad and forms the popliteal surface. So you can see here, this is the broad posterior surface which forms the popliteal surface. Distal extremity of the femur shows the two articular condyles. And these condyles, here you can see the condyle, the large projections, the articular condyles. These form the knee joint with the tibia and the patella. Here you can see they are forming, these condyles are forming the knee joint with the tibia and patella. Function of femur is to transmit the weight of body through the bones to the knee and then to the foot. Now tibia is the medial of the two bones of the leg, as I have shown you before. This is the medial side of the leg, this is the lateral side, and you can see that on the medial side the tibia is present. Proximal extremity is broad and flat and presents two condyles for articulation with the femur. So its proximal extremity, it is also broad and presents two condyles for articulation with the femur. Head of fibula articulates with the inferior aspect of the lateral condyle to form the proximal tibiofibular joint. So this is the proximal tibiofibular joint formed by the head of fibula and the lateral condyle, inferior aspect of the lateral condyle of tibia. So this is forming the proximal tibiofibular joint. Distal extremity of tibia, it forms the ankle joint with the talus and the fibula. So here you can see this is the talus bone, this is the talus bone, and this is the fibula, and this is the lower end of the tibia, which is forming the ankle joint. Now this one is the ankle joint, and it is formed between the tibia, talus and fibula. Now medial malleolus is a downward projection of the tibia bone medial to the ankle joint. So here is the medial malleolus. This is a downward bony projection of the tibia medial to the ankle joint. So fibula is the long, slender lateral bone in the leg. Here is the fibula. This is the lateral side of the leg, and this is the lateral bone in the leg. Its head or upper extremity articulates with the condyle of the tibia. The lower extremity of fibula articulates with tibia and projects beyond it to form the lateral malleolus. So this is the lower end of the fibula. It is articulating with the lower end of tibia, and its lateral margin is projecting downward to form the lateral malleolus. This helps to stabilize the ankle joint. So patella or kneecap, it is a roughly triangular shaped sesamoid bone associated with the knee joint. Its posterior surface articulates with the patellar surface of the femur in the knee joint, and its anterior surface is in the patellar tendon, that is the tendon of the quadriceps femoris. So what is a sesamoid bone? Sesamoid bone, it is a bone which develops later in life in the tendons due to repeated friction. And patella, you know, is the largest sesamoid bone. Here you can see that its posterior surface is articulating with the anterior surface of the condyle of the femur in the knee joint, and its anterior surface is covered by the tendon of the quadriceps femoris. This tendon is known as patellar tendon, patellar tendon. So bones of the foot, they include the tarsal bones, metatarsals and phalanges. So tarsals, there are 7 tarsal bones forming the posterior part of the foot. They are the talus. Here you can see the number 1 is talus. Then the calcaneum. This one is the calcaneum, the heel bone. The navicular bone on the medial side, navicular bone on the medial side, the cuboid shaped bone on the lateral side, 4th, and 3 cuneiform bones medially anterior to the navicular bone. The talus articulates with the tibia and fibula at the ankle joint. Here you can see the talus is articulating with the tibia and fibula, and this is forming the ankle joint. The calcaneus, it forms the heel of the foot. As I have told you before, you can feel it under your heel, the bone, the hard bone. The other bones articulates with each other and with the metatarsal bones. Here you can see the other bones, they are articulating with each other and the metatarsal bones. Metatarsal bones, these are the bones of the foot. They are 5 in number. They are numbered from inside out, from medial to lateral side, which forms the greater part of the dorsum of the foot. At their proximal ends, they articulate with the tarsal bones. So they are 5 in number. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is the medial side, while this is the lateral side, little toe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 metatarsal bones. They are articulating with the tarsal bones on the one side, and at their distal ends they are articulating with the phalanges. The enlarged distal ends of the head of the first metatarsal bone forms the ball of the foot. So you can feel it on your foot also. Now phalanges, the toe bones, there are 14 phalanges arranged in a similar manner to those in the fingers. You can see there are only 2 phalanges in the big toe and 3 phalanges in the other toes.